Say it quietly, but are Manchester United back? Yes, they are back after summer and still as shit as they were before. Manchester United, after losing 2-1 at home last week versus Brighton, have righted their wrongs and gone away to Brentford and lost 4-0. Man United are laughable, let's be honest. But before we rip into them like every pundit on television and everyone on the internet, we first need to give props to Brentford and the job that Thomas Frank is doing. I don't mean to diminish the club at all, but it is just little old Brentford at the end of the day, isn't it? They don't have any Premier League prestige. Last season was their first season in the Premier League, and they proved that they were good enough. They stayed up with some brilliant results against Chelsea away, beating Arsenal on the first day of the season, a draw against Liverpool, and now on the second game week of the new Premier League season, they've scored 4 versus Man United in the first 45 minutes. If they haven't already, they should build a statue of Thomas Frank outside that stadium. He is doing a wonderful job. Seems like a really nice guy. Loves a bottle of red wine. Good on him. Go drink the red wine, Thomas. Go for it tonight. You've earned it after a brilliant display this evening. But I guess we have to talk about Man United. Now, it's important when these sorts of results happen, and they were always going to happen. Let's not kid ourselves. There was always going to be a result like this, probably involving Man United, that would send ripples across the Premier League and across football Twitter. So we mustn't overreact and think this is the end. We've got to remember that this Man United side was touted as having a comeback season. No one was thinking that they were going to go on and win the Premier League. And yes, I am speaking in past tense. Finally, they were going to get a coach with some modern day tactics, drag them into modern day football, into the 21st century of tactical evolution, and with some brilliant coaching that he'd formed from his previous side at Ajax, which were amazing with some brilliant Champions League runs. And finally, they were going to hopefully sweep the awful decade that they've just had behind them and hopefully start fresh and start writing their own history into the Man United history books. Maybe skip this chapter. United fans were raving at a 4-0 versus Liverpool in pre-season. A couple of decent results here and there, and Anthony Martial putting the ball in the back of the net a couple of times. But it just shows that pre-season has absolutely no correlation to how you're going to start the actual Premier League season. Lovely pass and move football, bringing the ball out from the back. De Gea with some decent distribution. Those counter-attacks look so deadly. Well, they've left them in Singapore because they've arrived in England and it looks flat. You've just had a new manager walk through the door. A manager that's coming with this sort of mystique. Can he do it in a big league, with some proper tactical backing behind him? We know he's got a brilliant footballing mind. Finally, it's a fresh start for this Man United side. Everything that's went wrong with Ole, everything that went wrong with Ranić, everything that went wrong with those that were even there with Mourinho and Van Gaal, they were finally able to put that behind them and start fresh. If you're not going to fight, and you're not going to show passion, and you're not going to just work hard, run hard, play for your teammate beside you, if you're not going to do that on the second game of the Premier League season, how on earth are you going to react when you're in a dogfight come April, clinging on to any hope of getting European football? The passing is better. That's the best I can say, to be honest with you, because certainly the heart isn't there. Certainly the work rate isn't there. It doesn't look like anyone wants to be there. Even the people that are linked to the club are terrified of it. De Gea had a stinker. Anyone see that? De Gea had a stinker. That first goal, awkward. 10 minutes. Maybe just don't do that in the first 10 minutes. I feel like it's pretty lazy analysis to just go, well, Brentford wanted it more, but it doesn't seem like there's any other way of describing it. Brentford were up for the fight. They ran harder in the first half. They ran longer in the first half. They pressured more. And it's almost as if those things get you goals, and they got goals. And were they scrappy? Yes. They weren't the nicest of goals, but these things happen. You get the luck of the draw when you're constantly putting balls in the box. Your attacks look dangerous. You're winning first balls. You're pressing the man. You're keeping a good shape when they're being pinned back on the edge of their box. Man United tried. to break him down, I guess. I guess the only thing Man United fans and Man United players themselves could do is just look towards the next result until they look at the fixtures list and it's against Liverpool. I don't want to sound like Paul Scholes here, but if you perform like that, you'll get beat 4-0 in the first half again and again. I think this was the third time in their history that they were 4-0 down at halftime. That is not the history we meant when we said write your own history, for the love of God. All that being said, I do still believe that Erik ten Hag is going to do something with this Man United side. Hopefully not take them down, but as in, like, you know, I think they'll show glimpses of improvement. The team will be there or thereabouts come the end of the season, and by there I mean sniffing around the top four. You know, they maybe even dip their toes in that fourth position, but just lose out on solidifying it after a few bad results. But do I think they'll finish fourth come the end of the season? No, not really. It'll probably be Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Tottenham in any sort of order that you like. But I don't think they'll get fourth. They'll show glimpses of Erik ten Hag ball, as they like to call it. It looks good on the eye. If it works, it's beautiful. It cuts through defenses like butter. And Twitter will love it. You won't hear the end of it for a week on Twitter, but it will be followed up by a 2-2 draw away at Wolves. But anyway, that's all I have to say about the Brentford versus Man United game this evening. Let me know what your thoughts were down in the comments if anyone's watching. And it was a good afternoon of football. For me, it looks like Arsenal and City are looking like the most solid, well put together team so far. We'll obviously see how Liverpool get on Monday against Crystal Palace. And tomorrow we've got Chelsea versus Tottenham in a London derby that just gets feistier and feistier. And I'm sure it will get a bit tasty with Conte and Tuchel on the sidelines. We'll see how that goes. You know, maybe Tottenham can carry on impressing us and Chelsea can carry on putting us to sleep. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. And today, the outro is that